As we continue our Britain Get Talking mental health campaign, our next guest will be sharing his story of living with addiction. James Argent became a household name when he joined the cast of Towie, aged 22, in 2010. Larger than life, a great sense of humour and everyone's mate, Arg enjoyed the laughs, friendship and partying on screen. But behind the scenes, he was battling a secret 7-year drug addiction, which led to days-long benders and 2 near-fatal overdoses.
I was the biggest I'd ever been. I was 23.5 stone. I hated, I just hated everything about myself. I was at an all-time low. And I remember around that period, I think I was using drugs for like 2 or 3 days straight in my house. I'd locked myself into my house. The house was pitch black.
Thankfully, last year, with support from those close to him and tough love from his best friend Mark Wright, he realised he needed help.
And on Boxing Day, he texted me and he just said, "I'm ready. I've hit rock bottom. I need to go to rehab." So I got on the phone to a rehab centre. I researched in Thailand and I booked it for him the next day, and he got on a plane and he went.
Now, after a 10-week stint in rehab, he is finally on the road to recovery and building broken bridges with his family. And he joins us now with his mum, Patricia. A really warm welcome to both of you, all the way from sunny Essex. And now, Arg, you have been so brave opening up about your addiction. It's something that you've been suffering from a really long time, for a number of years. So why did you decide to open up about it after so long?
I just kind of feel like this time, after going away to Thailand to, working on myself for a few months, getting myself better, I just felt like this time I really believe in my heart of hearts that this is the time where I'm going to stay clean and sober forever. And for the fact that I believed that, I felt that it was time that I could start to discuss it and be accountable. I kind of felt it was like the worst kept secret. There were stories throughout the years, of me, potentially, I think it was like being, there was times where I had breaks from Towie and stuff, and it was always kind of everyone knew, but I never spoke about it. And now I've spoke about it. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. It's the best thing I ever did, because the amount of support I'm getting is amazing. And not just that, I really feel like I've got responsibility now to kind of help others out as well, because every single day, there hasn't been a day gone by since I did my first interview in regards to this topic where someone hasn't messaged me or texted me or DM'd me on social media saying that I'm going through this, or my brother's going through this, or my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my son, and just every single day I'm getting inundated with messages of so many people who can relate to my situation.
Arg, I want to ask you, looking back, when did you realise that you had a problem?
I think I kind of accepted I had a problem. I think just before the first time I went to treatment, which was, I think probably, probably about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago.
And Patricia, how hard was it for you? I mean, I've got 3 children, and it's like I'd be absolutely devastated. I'd do anything I could to help him, but how hard was it watching him going through this?
Oh, it was absolutely devastating. I mean, to be honest with you, I've never gone public before talking about my son's addiction, so this is a really big thing for me. But I feel that, I support my son all the way. I'm so proud of him. He's 9 months clean and sober, so I think we've got to rejoice in that. And, I want to help other people, other mothers that are going through, children that, that are going through similar things, an addiction of any sort. It's the worst possible nightmare that a mother could actually face.
You say that, and I think there are so many mums. We're all mums here. Yeah. We would be at a loss. How did you know what to do when you can see that obviously your son is struggling? He's tipped over from, normal. He's a normal young man out partying, and then you can see that there's a problem there. How did you know what to do? Did you have to ask for support for yourself before trying to support him?
Well, that's just it. That's a very good question. For ages, I didn't know who to turn to. This was all, alien to us. We didn't know anything about addiction or, you know, what we were facing ahead. We knew nothing as a family how to deal with it. And to be honest with you, it was even more difficult for me because my son was in the public light. And I was scared. You know, you bring children into the world and you know, you want to protect them and love them and look after them. But I realised as time went on, it was totally out of my hands, and I wasn't in control. I couldn't save him, and it was the most scariest thing to have to go through. And in some ways, looking back, before I actually sought professional help as to how to deal with addiction, I probably in some ways enabled him because I didn't know what to do or who to turn to. So my heart goes out to anyone that is going through it. To, you know, there is help out there, and amazing help.
And Arj, how does it feel for you now listening to your mom open up like that and tell you how she has felt through the whole thing?
Yeah, I don't. It was quite. That was probably the first time where I kind of got a bit choked up because do you know what it is? It's one thing putting myself through it and ruining and affecting my own life, but it's another thing. It's the effect that you have on your family, your friends, and when I'm in active addiction, it's all a bit of a blur to me, and I kind of escape my feelings and my emotions, and if I'm suffering with pain or whatever, I'm using the drugs and the alcohol to cover it up. But in terms of my mum and my dad, my sister, my friends and family, they you know, they had to deal with it day to day, and it's like a case of it was difficult because my mum wanted to talk to people, but there was constantly people selling stories on me, so my mum didn't want to discuss my private business to too many people because we was worried that the Sun newspaper or people would, you know, they would run stories. So my mum didn't know who to trust, who to turn to, and then it was just a nightmare. Sorry.
Oh, do you know?
But,
honestly,
yeah.
don't.
Do you know what?
Don't
At the end of the day,
apologise.
we're just a normal family.
Yeah, it's difficult for my mum because my mum, you know, she's such an amazing woman. She's a childminder. She was a fantastic mother, and you know, I feel terrible because my mum's had to get counselling and support, you know, because of what I've put her through, and it, you know, I feel terrible and stuff. And she's a fantastic mother. She's raised me amazingly, and you know, I've made her question herself. I've made my mum question, you know, is it something I've done or something? And it just, I think the best way of me making amends is by staying clean and sober. I can say sorry all I want, and I can, you know, treat her to meals, get her a bit of jewellery, but the only thing that's really ever going to really, you know, make things up with my friends' family is for me to carry on doing what I'm doing. I didn't expect to be upset. I don't think I've got upset since I've come home, have I?
No,
Do you know,
really
it's because we love you, you're in a safe place, we understand, we completely understand. We understand, Patricia, from your perspective, we understand from those of us here who've experienced mental health difficulties. So you're in a loving, supportive place, both of you. So it's perfectly understandable that you get upset. But we don't want to leave you on a low. We do have to wrap up. But we want to applaud you, Arj. You are 9 months sober.
Yeah,
so
well
congratulations. Congratulations. Now, earlier on in the show, we were joined by James Argent and his mum, Patricia. We were having a great conversation, but sadly we ran out of time, so we have brought them back because, James and Patricia, we just wanted to let you know we had such a tremendous response to your conversation. There is so much love for you. We just wanted to check how you're feeling as much as anything else. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought my mum was going to be the one doing the crying. I even said to her before the interview, Mum, listen, you cry all the time, like, don't worry about it. She was like, no, but I want to hold it together. I was like, listen, it's fine. Because I don't really ever get tearful or choke up. Like, I haven't cried for years.
I think,
yeah, so... Sorry,
Arj. I think for me, that's what's just got to me. I mean, I nearly sobbed when you started crying because In all the years we've seen you, you've always been this happy, jolly, friendly. Every time you've been to the studio, just so gorgeous person. And so to know that you were going through all that pain and now opening up about it was just so moving for me, you know. And I really, really admire you. You're doing incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. I'm
Arj,
not 9 months in.
Arj, can I just ask you, if you wasn't in Towie, do you think you still would have gone down the same road?
Yeah, I think. I think I've had underlining issues throughout my life and stuff. You know, I remember when I was young, even before Towie, I was always so conscious of the way I looked. And even on a boys' holiday, I remember sitting around the swimming pool and I would wear a T-shirt and then all my mates would be like, take your top off. And I wasn't even that big at the time. I'm a lot bigger now than what I was then. And I was just so conscious about my body and the way I looked. And then I remember my mates ripping off my T-shirt and jumping in the pool. And and they were saying to me, look, get a tan. You'll feel more confident and you will look better if you have a tan and blah. And then I just remember just things like that, just underlining issues and, you know, breakups with girlfriends and stuff that I've struggled with. And just, there's been a lot of things. There's been a lot of things over the years. And, you know, it's definitely not in regards to Towie. Probably, yeah. To answer your question, there's a very good chance that I have a lot of attributes that would have led on to being, you know, for my addiction.
You know, Arj, you did mention that it's been, 9 months now since you've been clean, and like obviously last year Christmas was quite hard. What are you looking forward to this Christmas?
I just want to make it up to my mum and my family, and we actually discussed this a couple of days ago. My mum's been hinting that she wants Christmas in my house.
Definitely.
I was very lucky. So my mum and dad had a lovely house in Woodford Green, and I kind of thought, I'm never gonna be able to afford to get a house like my mum and dad's, and I just about managed to do it, and yeah, I really wanna put on a magical day and make it up for last year.
Do you know what? You don't have... There's one present that you don't have to get for your mum, and that's because we've sorted it out. Patricia, you've got a Loose Women mug. Your life is complete because you're a Loose Women super fan, aren't you?
I'm a big fan. Never thought I'd be sitting here talking...
I thought you was going to say she's won a holiday or something.
Patricia, can I just ask you one question? Patricia, can I just ask you one question? Who's your favourite loose woman? Who's your favourite loose woman?
Oh, I love you all. I'm big fans of all of you.
You should be a politician.
Absolutely.
She don't want to offend no one.
Women of my own heart.
Yeah. You bumped into Linda?
I bumped into Linda a few years back. I met Linda. That's right. I think
was she
at a
nice?
premiere or something.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, thank you both so much.
Lovely.
And thanks for coming back on and continuing our conversation. And so much love to both of you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No worries.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.